Good evening, lords and ladies. DJ Craigie in the house with my amazing wife, Macy Ming Chow, and Neapolitan Wu, my co host. And we are joined here today with two very special people, Shorty and Lilyanda Chatterbox. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
You guys, welcome.
Okay, well, let's jump right into it. So, how did you get involved with Progeny Vampire? How did you come to learn about this secret society?
Oh my. Starting off with a longevity question, I see. Okay.
A loaded question.
Loaded questions are good. They really spur the mind of thinking. So, I found out about the progeny world quite some time ago, many years ago. And at the time of my awakening into the TV world, I was a king in Bloodlines realm. And my queen at the time, her mother, my mother-in-law, was a vampire in both realms. And she had brought it up and had basically talking to us, being the individual that I am, it really kind of just caught my attention right away. But that's not the actual first time that I heard about and was introduced to what progeny was. That was much earlier, but at that point in time, I really didn't figure that the progeny realm would have been able to be created because of the openness to it. So I didn't really pay much stock into it, and I didn't think about it until it came back up again, and then I realized, wait a minute, this is the same realm as what once was, and thus it's active, so I'm going to check it out. And I've been involved ever since. This was back in, I'm going to say, 2015, 14, something like that. So,
wow, that's a long time.
Oh, no cap. That's awesome.
Yeah. Very long time. Okay, so now tell us about your embrace. It sounds like you got quite the history, so we want to hear about that.
Well, I've been to a few embracings lately, and I've noticed, they're good embracings, and I won't say anything bad about any embracing, as long as it's interactive. I think they're all good. But it did lead me to thinking and reminiscing about the embracings that once were, and how I'd really like to see that brought back like that, because they used to be interactive. Like my embracement, I loved my embracement, and still to this day would thank those that were involved in helping me to making it a special thing. I can remember it vividly. I can close my eyes. I can smell the air, even the intensity, the emotions that were involved with it back then.
Yeah.
I was escorted into a large room, gothly decorated, pictures all over the walls, and people were standing on other plates. I didn't realize at the time what it was kind of resembled and all that, but it gave off this sense, this feel. And they escorted me in, said, stand here, you're going to be given an oath, you're going to have to swear by, which I did, and then you were going to meet some of the others, which were the individuals on the magical plates around me. And so, intimidation, completely. Intimidation. I was scared. Here I am in this new realm.
No doubt.
Pictures and everything going on.
Scared and your heart was racing. Yeah.
And, I thought, okay, I'm going to be meeting these individuals. Well, next thing I know, I've got individuals coming up and asking me if they can feed on me. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I didn't know anything about this. Well, what it was, the perception is they all took turns feeding on me, draining me.
Oh.
Then, after my oathing, after the ceremony and my actual turning, I turned around and fed on all of them, replenishing back. So it was a way of bleeding in, bleeding out, becoming one with the family, the clan. And it was a close thing. It was a good, strong bond. But I haven't seen, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, and maybe it does, and I hope it does. But I haven't seen that connection in the turnings like that. I'd really like to see that make it come back. So I'm gonna put some effort into that. I'd like to see that happening again.
That sounds like some intense role play, some old world type stuff. Yeah, you don't see that very often.
I don't know if I'd say
old. You surely don't, my love. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. Well, I think it's time you tell us about your work as an Infernal.
Basically, I'm a little bit of everything. I mean, if Diabolic Mystique needs her dog walked, then I'll walk her dog. If she needs somebody to, create something, if she can express the concept to me, then I'll go out of my way, I'll get it created. And basically, as an Infernal, I've always felt as an Infernal, I'm an assistant. I'm there to assist. And if whatever it means it's going to lighten their load, so making their job a little bit easier, because they do work. I've heard a lot of people say, the higher ups, they don't do this, they don't do that, and they're lazy, and da-da-da. And you know what? They're not. They're really, truly not. Now, you may not see or hear much of them all the time, but that's because they're busy doing things, And a lot of the Diabolics, they do have multiple Infernals because there's a lot to do behind the scenes, as you guys well know. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that the average vampire, the average Therian, the average familiar isn't familiar with. And that's really kind of we're kept in the shadows for good reason. Some of us are naughty.
Yeah, Ming and I are in the shadows a lot. I mean, right, baby?
The shadows, yes, all the time. I never want to come out of there. It's crazy.
I like the shadows.
So since I accidentally jumped over my beautiful wife's question, please ask.
Okay. Well, we wanted to know about your character. Now, how did your character evolve throughout your time in Progeny since you were embraced until now? How do you think your character, your persona has changed, or has it always been the same since the day you began?
For me, it's a little bit different than the average person, I would say, because in the overall realm of what is Second Life, I've always been something of the undead creature. From the moment that I came into this realm, I came in as vampire and was created. But it's been, from one system to another. Now, since my time within the PV realm, there's been some changes, yes, some good, some bad, in my opinions, but there's been changes and things have grown. I can't say that. I've seen a progression with things over the years. And it's pleasing because, whenever something gets stagnant, it tends to lose gravitation of growth. And that's the definition of it. And people will eventually leave. So we got to have things keep rolling that brings in fresh blood, so to speak. So I do notice these changes, but to answer the actual question, from my first time that I sink into another's flesh, I haven't really changed much, aside that I myself am not as quick to anger, hasty in my decisions, things like that. The progeny community has helped me grow into being patient, methodical, but definitely a patient individual.
Methodical is good, sir.
Oh, it is. I think it is fun.
Yeah.
I like it. Gets me in a lot of fun trouble.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why I always thought you guys were Therians, but you're actually vampire.
Well, my individual is a little bit confusing. I get asked quite a lot of this, what I am, because you standardly look at me and you think, just that. What the hell is he? You know, not everybody runs around with, short-haired gray fur with spots.
Were you on
walking
Stranger
leopard.
Things? I'm just
Well, you'd have to talk to my parents about that, but I don't know where the skin toner left off. I never got around to asking them for that. I haven't really changed much aside that I get. I'm trying to think here because it is kind of a tricky question for me. I poured so much of my RL into my character that one almost kind of has to know a little bit about my RL to fully understand the character, because I'm not a vampire per se. I am Skatine. Within the native lore, that is as close to being a vampire necessarily as there is. But with a little bit of a twist, because, like I said, this is where I'm pulling in my RL. I am Lakota, and keeping that heritage, keeping that culture with the lore alive, I think is important. So I do like to portray that as much. Individuals can, they often find me as gross, disgusting, whatever. But hey, my character, I eat on young. That's what I do. They're tasty.
Oh, now that is creepy.
But that's just what the Skatine do, is we read on young. But yeah, it's really the closest to what a vampire is. But this is where my ties come in and play, working with what my mother title of Mystique is, of being Therian. Because I can communicate back and forth and help be that bridge too.
I think that's exciting. That's awesome.
That's interesting. Totally.
It is very exciting to bring pieces of you into your character.
I don't think like just a Therian would generally, and I don't think like just a vampire would generally. It's I'm able to be that bridge.
Very cool. So it's a mix. It's very custom creation.
Yes.
I gotta say, that's fascinating, and I really am impressed with this interview so far. So now,
what about Infernal Lilyanda? We should ask about her character as well.
Sorry,
Infernal Lily. We should ask her about her character as well.
Yes, Infernal Lily. Would you like to tell us about your character?
When I first joined Progeny, and now is a complete 360, I had seen myself in a more younger perspective of things. So I portrayed myself as a younger individual, not a child, but not an adult. And as I progressed in the Progeny, I grew up. So I realized that I'm a vampire. And I learned how to deal with magic. So I'm able to transform into things that, like vampire bats into vampire, or I can grow some horns. So I dabble with the magic to keep things interesting.
I love that magic. That's
Me
cool.
too. I love magic.
I like your
like blood magic or
Fey magic. I use Fey magic too, because they're able to do a little bit more than just blood magic.
plus the hearts are better. The hearts are better tasting, and I love a good heart.
Is Fey magic a little more healing oriented, or?
Now that would be more of the light side of the Fae, but the dark Fae, they go more of the dark, shadow estic side, the curses, the hex.
Ah, understood.
Ooh.
Yeah. We
Stay
don't,
away from them.
You two are a creepy pair. Well, this is some cool stuff you got going on.
Did say we're used for the shadows.
Yeah. Wow, I'm digging it. Well, Infernal Lily, do you want to tell us a little bit about your duties under Diabolic Mystique?
I help with roleplay stories. That one of them has been published on Progeny Wars. So if you go onto the land and go and look at the Covenant, it actually describes the entry of what Progeny Wars is about. Stuck in time. So it gives you a better idea of what they're wanting at Progeny Wars, the roleplay aspect, the combat aspects. So it gets people riled up to be interested in going over there to see what's going on.
And definitely, you guys go check it out. Go grab up your friends, go play around. That's what it's there for.
But I have in the real realm, I have a bachelor's degree in creative writing, so I'm trying to utilize it here in
Congratulations.
this world to bring imaginary into reality and get a baseline that can be grown upon, because progeny is ever changing.
Absolutely, ever evolving. Yeah, always revamping. So now they got
Revamping, I love
CCS
that.
there. They have CCS there now, you guys. Is that part of the story and all that stuff? Is
Here in the War Sim, it was CCS, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's for sure the story.
Oh, very interesting.
Now the CCS is not going to be like taking over progeny. It is an added tool, so that way you can role play and add bows, arrows, axes. Get into the role, because Progeny Wars is stuck in a time of battles between Vikings and other fighting countries and stuff. So we're using axes and swords and stuff like that.
Crossbows was the limit for mechanized weaponry, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we're trying to get it themed so that way that it has extra
the
stories
concept.
to it.
Those weapons aren't in play yet. I'm putting a little mistake there, I think. I probably shouldn't.
I love it. So that's
We
just
are-
expanding. It's awesome.
We'll be looking at weaponry though that aren't just the fangs or just claws, whatever the source comes out with for the Therianthropes. There'll be a little bit more. I mean, it's more realistic roleplay, day-to-day stuff. Is what this stuff is all about.
Very cool. It sounds very exciting.
It really
Something new and
does.
exciting. Yeah.
Well, you sure guys got a lot of great plans, and I really wish you the best. But I want to know, you two, what final words do you have, or advice, or wisdom for all the young ones, for our beloved community, before we part ways?
Whistle before you go into the shadows because you never know who's sitting in there.
Yes.
From somebody that likes to eat the young. No, all seriousness aside.
No, right? I'm going to whistle. I'm going to start whistling.
Have you seen our top 5 video?
Yeah, in all seriousness, though, I mean, work hard, be patient. I see many younglings get discouraged about various different things. They don't see things going as quick as they may want to see them and all that. So I do see some discouragements out there, but, stick to it. Patience is a virtue. It really, really is. And the sooner you can learn patience, the better off you'll be in life.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as stupid questions, so quit assuming. Ask questions. You know, negligence is no excuse because all
Well,
the rules
exactly.
are here, you know. And for the love of God, for the love of all things evil, please, guys, quit trying to bother the diabolics. Go through.
It's like when
Now
I
that's
see a
great.
diabolic, I just want to give Parthenia a hug, but she doesn't like me.
Well, I
She
mean,
got
you know,
brand new sewing needle, Craig. Back off.
I know, I'm just
graceful
teasing.
hugs and things like that is one thing, but I mean, I guess I need to. I don't want to come across and be like, well, wait a minute, he's trying to suggest nobody approaches diabolics. No, I ain't saying that at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But I mean, they get asked a lot of things that don't necessarily need to go to them all the way. You know, there are things that we Infernals we can help with, and that alleviates things from their shoulders, which alleviates things from others' shoulders. We're a cog in the wheel. Let's use the cogs.
I totally agree. Absolutely. And I see you on Progeny chat helping a lot of people, by the way. I always see you trying to do that. Take the load off your diabolic, which is great.
It's a job.
And
It's a
now what
job I
about
love.
you, Lily?
Definitely ask questions because there's so much information out there and so much information being updated that not everybody has updated information. So ask questions, and then eventually we'll get it to the part where you get all the right answers and you get the right information to spread to your younglings as you grow. Be yourself. Because trying to be somebody else is not going to work out.
Man,
Yeah.
that's what I
Everyone
told
else
all
is
my
like-
children, always. Amen, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. That's good advice. What's the name of your guys' house? I forgot to ask.
Well, she has a house.
It is called Draconian Energar, under Buddha.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
I'm a liaison in a house. I could have been but I'm not up in her house.
Okay, so you each are doing
With
your own
Mystique,
house.
very cool.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome.
Well, guys, it has really been an honor here, and we've learned quite a bit about you. I tell ya. And hopefully we can all hang some time and do this again.
Yeah.
Look forward to it. The honor's been ours. Thank you.
And make sure.
And I'm scared. Don't eat our young, please. We want to blow that whistle. We are blowing that whistle.
Blow your whistle, baby.
Yeah.
And make sure you like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure you stay tuned for all of our new notifications so you can stay tuned. Have a great evening.
Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to do business with you guys. See you real soon. Happy fall, y'all.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? We're not done just yet. We have a very special song that I believe is going to be our new theme song for the Progeny Behind the Fang podcast. So, without further ado, here it is.
Turn into the night, feel me speaking. Behind the Fang podcast with CraigE and Ming. Lights are flashing bright, rhythms in the air. Vampire beats are flying, let's dance if you dare. beats feel so right.